Let's get it popping. Mr. J Hill Podcast was popping. You already know we got special guests in the building.
Yo, what's going on?
TyTe is here.
What's good? What's right? Good? Yes, sir.
First and foremost, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's so much to talk with about you, and it's crazy because you still want to rise. Like you still up and coming artist, but it's so much to talk about.
Most definitely.
First and foremost, for my audience that might not know you, I know your peoples know. You're super humble.
I try to be.
You're like, this shit is almost too humble.
For real.
I fuck with it. I love it. I'm like, this guy got it. Like, bro, like, you're super humble. I fuck with that.
That's real. That's real.
I don't even know where I want to start. Tallahassee, tell me, because I really don't know too much about Tallahassee. I do want to have just a regular conversation. You can pour up if you want. Yeah. We got the Bel Air Bumble. I said Bel Air Bumble is here. You know what I'm saying? It's a sovereign brand, so that's why I say Bel Air. Sovereign Brands owns Bumble. You might see it with Lil Wayne and all that shit. Rick Ross promoted and shit, but
most definitely.
Shout out to the guys, man. But yeah, tell me a little bit about Tallahassee. I never been.
Tallahassee, small city, big hustle. You know what I'm saying? Coming to the city, we got two of the biggest colleges. You know what I'm saying? FAMU, shout out to the Rattlers, and FSU, Florida State Seminoles. You know, and most people coming to the city, they feel like it's a college town. You know, part of town, which it is. You know, it's a lot of motion through there, but at the same time, we got the trenches as well, like every other city. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like in Tallahassee, it's a lot harder to make it out than almost any other city in Florida, major city. Like when people think of Orlando, Miami, Tampa, and so forth, like back then more so coming in, artists got to pass through Tallahassee first. You got to sell out that moon. You know what I'm saying? That was like the main club, and then it trickled from there. So like I say, just Tallahassee is a small city, big hustle. People trying to make it out. You know, it's one of those cities where you can get lost super fast. You know,
and it's the capital too, right?
The capital of Florida.
Damn,
most down.
It's funny because I think you probably used to hearing this. When I hear Tallahassee, I'll just think of fucking T-Pain. That's where you from?
Yep, Tallahassee, Florida.
I just always heard him say it, Tallahassee. So like, damn, bro, like. The first thing that stood out to me, and this might not be what everybody think about, and I don't even know if you had this conversation before, but the first thing that stood out to me is the struggles that our people, African American, share.
Most definitely.
But we so judgmental of each other. And what I mean by that is you grew up in a 2-parent household.
Yeah.
And but you still, bro, you still went through some shit.
Some shit, for real.
But even without the struggle, let's talk about a 2-parent household. I was listening to you and I was thinking like, bro, imagine the ups and downs, right? You spoke about how like your mom's probably would lose her job one time and then your pops, it probably would go back and forth.
Yeah.
But just that change and that influx in the family household is so triggering and just frustrating in itself. Talk to me about just seeing your parents have that battle, the battle of the struggle, or the battle of the ups and downs, and you might see your moms get it, and your father might get frustrated when he don't have it, or your father got it, and the tension that it brings in the house. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Growing up, like I said, in a two-home household, a lot of people thought we had it. Especially when you look at me, I was the only child on both ends. You know what I'm saying? And not knowingly, like, whatever that household of 3 or 4 going through, we going through the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? And coming from the circumstance that I'm coming from and that my parents came from, my pops from a group of 11. My mom from a group of 6. You know what I'm saying? And they both of them stepped out at a young age, like off on their own. My pops ain't finished school. My mama ain't finished school. You know, and where they at now, even in job elevation over the years, it's like where they at right now, they weren't supposed to be there. Like these people went to school for this stuff, went to have degrees for the stuff, by the grace of God that they there. But just growing up, it just was like, damn, if Smurf ain't got it, my pop, that's why I call him Smurf, or my mama ain't got it, that was it. We ain't have, my grandma ain't have nothing. My other grandma ain't had nothing. Like, it was in that household. That was it.
Talk to me about, man. I don't know if you know, but did your parents, were your grandparents married?
Say that again?
Were your grandparents married?
Nah. But on both ends. Well, my mom's side, they was married, but on my pop's side, they were separated.
How did they stick together for so long? Because, like, you spoke about how, like, they stuck together and they made sure you was straight.
Most
and they might have had their feuds in the house, but, like, they made sure one common denominator, and that was you. They made sure you was good. They made sure they stuck together in a house to be a family.
Most definitely. And I feel like exactly what you just said, that was the common denominator.
1991, 91.
But I feel like that was the common denominator. It was more so like, once you find that right person, and y'all work through the flaws, like my pops and my moms done been together over 20 some years. You know what I'm saying? And I done seen the toughest of time, like, damn, you fuck you, F, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But I feel like once you find that right person where they understand you and you understand them and you get them where it's like, shit, we done been through the mud. You know what I'm saying? We do go back there. We know how to get out of it. And that's the thing that I think I took from them the most. It's like they weren't scared to go broke. They weren't scared to go, oh, we failed. We fell off. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that in that sense, because it's like we know how to get out of it. We know how to make sense of it. And I think that's what I took from it, to say, I know not what to do. You know what I'm saying? I learned from it from an aspect like, I know not to do that. I know not to go in this atmosphere and do this right here and do this right here, flash out and do this right here. Like, I feel like at the same time, when you walking into these corporate situations and you having meetings and talkings with these people, you got to make the best of it. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like the generation that came before us, my parents and so forth, they didn't capitalize on that. It was more so work, come back to the crib,
It's
handle
crazy
your business.
that you even speak on corporations, because I was just talking to my team about that. I was saying, like, you know, like, the game is about betting on yourself, but understanding how far you can go with somebody else's help as well. And what I mean by that is, like, so you got to understand what your worth is, but understand what you can do with your worth that makes sense. So I'm gonna break it down. So a company is gonna see the worth in you. They're gonna look over time. I'm thinking about 20 years. A lot of African Americans, we ain't never had nothing, so we think about tomorrow. We trying to survive.
Most
definitely. You feel me? So, like, with a company is like, okay, look, I'm surviving. What can this get me in 20 years? It's gonna give me $100 million. Come here, I give you $10,000 for this. And this same with record labels, right? You gonna be like, man, shit, I ain't never see 10,000. Let's say a bigger number. Let's say a bigger number. I give you $100,000 for this. We ain't never see that much money. Hell yeah, you gonna sell your rights to your music, to your content, and what's gonna happen is, in 10 years, you're gonna be like, damn, you gonna be seeing your shit on Netflix. You're gonna be seeing your shit on whatever the next best platform is, and you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I could make money off of that, but I already got my cash out.
Most definitely. Cashed out too early.
People don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I really was curious, and we're gonna move on from the parent thing. Oh, that shit died? Is it plugged in? Or maybe it's it takes time to charge? It's on? Grab the other charger. The one with the cord. My bad.
No, you good, boss.
This one. Just take that battery out for me. Cause it's probably just it's probably dead. Nah, at the bottom. Unplug that one. Nah, the other one. Yeah, that one. Always gotta be prepared and just plug you see the battery? Look, no, it's like a battery piece to your yeah. Plug that in. That way we don't need the
My boy ready. He said, I got everything on point.
Like, yeah. And you don't have to shut it though. 1991, 91. And it should be good. It's on? That's on? Yeah, my bad. So we talking about, like I said, I'm gonna get through this, but I was just curious. I want to know, just from your perspective, how did they stay together? Like, what was, if because I'm assuming that you had to take something from this. Like when
Most definitely.
a lot of times we take the negative and we take whatever we see in our childhood, right? So when you in a relationship, and I don't know your situation, but like when you got a girl and you looking to marry and things like that, what are some things that you took away from it to help you stay with your partner? Because like I said, a lot of us African Americans, we don't know how to be loved, and we see all these videos and these memes and how I want to love or how I want somebody to love me, but we don't even know how to love somebody.
Most definitely.
What did you take away from your parents being together so long and really sticking it out? How would you do it?
Working through the biggest thing I seen, working through the bullshit. And what I mean by that, working through the BS, you got to get to a point, like my parents got together at an early age, like teenager years. So they went through the phase of, you got to listen to your girlfriends. You got to listen to your partners. You know what I'm saying? Man, he ain't, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that stage alone, because that's an influential stage, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? You rely on your friends, your close friends, even when we get older. But I feel like in teenage years, going into your 20s, that's where it count the most. You know what I'm saying? Where we the most vulnerable. And I feel like at that time, my pops was like 23, going on 24 when he had me. And my mama just had turned 20, or going on 21 when she had me.
That's a young, bro. That's
Super
a
young.
lot of tension, pain.
You feel me?
Sheesh.
And like the thing, like I can't even remember stuff from that, you know what I'm saying, that age. But what I take from it, of looking back on it in my own situation, I'd be like, y'all had to go through some BS. You know what I'm saying? Where it was he say, she say. And I feel like in this generation, that's what destroys the household. He say, she say shit. Like, it's a lot of stuff. It be some truth in it. But at the same time, the truth don't be 100%. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes, even with friends and close family members and stuff like that, they fluctuate the truth. You know what I'm saying? But you got to be more so the type of person, I know my man, or I know who I'm dealing with.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Who I'm in bed with. And I feel like at the time, the state of time that we is, like, trust is like one of the biggest factors. And I feel like that's what got my parents through. They trusted one another. Don't try me, I won't try you. And it was simple as that. You know what I'm saying? You do what you got to do. I do what I got to do. We make it happen at the end of the day. And it was simple as that.
Facts. You know what I think one of the biggest like struggles is with relationships, man? This power struggle. Like this struggle of just not being able to relinquish power. You know, a lot of men think I want to be in charge. I want to be the head of the household. And that's okay, you can be. But also understanding to sometimes men gotta relinquish the power to that woman. Sometimes men gotta submit to that woman.
Most definitely.
Vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like women gotta submit to men. And I don't think it's like we always, and I'm getting tired of these podcasts because we always hear this nigga ain't this or this chick ain't. And I be like, bro, it's just a bunch of hurt. I feel like both of us gotta work together. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I asked you that, because we hear so many people talking about
we was brainwashed into
it.
It's
like
almost quote unquote, it's the media, like even before the social media, but when you look at the news, that's the pictures they painted. If in our culture, dad not around, but in real reality, like a lot of like the hood, I grew up in the hood, you feel what I'm saying? But it wasn't like how the TV portrayed it. Like everybody ain't have no daddy. Like most of my part, they daddy was there. You feel what I'm saying? But for the most part, when you look at it and you look back on it, it's like, when you look at the media, it's like, nobody daddy was around. But really,
so like they brainwashed you the whole time.
It was brainwashed.
Daddies was around.
Niggas daddy. I ain't saying for everybody.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying? For the most part, but a lot of their parents might not been together, but they was relevant in their life. They made sure they had this and that and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my pops wasn't around, but I see what you're saying for sure. It's kind of like the news. All they show is negative shit. So that's all you think of. You think of the hood. You think of dirt, and whole time is a lot of Jews. You know what? Another thing that I think about your story. Isn't it crazy how like we can live in the same neighborhood? Let's talk about the hood, right? But people in that neighborhood down each other as if like we ain't in the same position.
We ain't in the same position.
I remember I grew up in the projects, and I used to, cause you was the only one, and you was the only child. I was the only child. And
that's real.
Yeah,
that's
so like
that's real.
Used to get teased a lot or whatever like that, right? Same. But I'm thinking like the audacity, like how can I get teased when you live right across the court
street,
from me?
man. Not even right across, you up under me, or on top of me.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
In your situation, you was in the trailer park, and it's like, wait, bro, how can you? Or you might got some Jordans, but you still in the same trailer, like
most definitely, most definitely, most definitely.
I never understood that, but now I'm grown. I'm like, ain't that's crazy how like we really tear each other apart, bro?
Tear us down.
That shit is crazy, bro. Talk to me about growing up in a trailer park, cause yo, me coming from the projects, right? Let me just give you a little short story about me. Came from the projects, so when I go to hypothetically LA, I see these houses and they say this is the hood, and my first thing that comes to my mind is this is a house.
A house.
This is a house. So I'm curious now, right? Because now I got somebody that grew up in a trailer park.
That real.
And I'm like, oh, nigga, you was so judgy talking about this is a house, but it's still the projects. I grew up in an apartment.
Most down.
It's still a step up from a trailer.
Most down.
Talk to me about that shit. Like, did you ever look at niggas like, bro, at least you was in an apartment. You had upstairs, downstairs. Nigga, I was in a trailer.
Man, we didn't get our first house until like a nice, nice little size until I was in high school for a house. You know what I'm saying? And trailer park, living out there was more so a community. Like, I don't even think it was like at the age when we were staying out there, I was super young. I was maybe like 6 years old, like 6, 7 years old. And at that time, it was more so all my peers around the same age. So I don't even think it was more so to that hate, or that envy.
You probably didn't even know no better.
Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? It was more so like, shit, we on bicycles, we pick a legs to the, to the candelator and shit like that. But I did have those type of thoughts in my head, cause you overhear your, your partner like, man, I wish we was same stuff that you was saying. They was saying about somebody else that was at school that had that. Okay. So it wasn't towards me. It was more so to peers of ours that had it better than us. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't never from an envy state of mind or a hatred state of mind. It was just like, why the hell they complaining?
Right, yeah.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, what? Let me know something that I don't know about. Like, because it can't get worse than this.
No cap.
You know what I'm saying? It can't get worse than this.
It's crazy because, like, I'm thinking about it, like, I'm thinking about the complaints that I had, right? And I'm just like, bro, you crazy. Like, this man grew up in a trailer. Like, even we got people that's doing worse than us. Like, it's just always. It put things in perspective. Like, when I seen you did like a little documentary and you went back home, and I'm like, bro, like, it's people out there that's really struggling. We got to appreciate what we have and shit, bro.
Definitely.
I said this earlier, you super humble. I'm going to follow up this question with something, but where do you see your career right now? Like, where do you see yourself?
I feel like I'm in that phase where they can study me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm in that phase where I'm a new artist, upcoming artist, most definitely, but I feel like you could take something from me. And not when I see it, I'm judgmental. It's more so like, I get where you coming from.
For sure.
I took from somebody.
For sure.
And I feel like the greatest minds is always taken from something that's evolved. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people get that small statement took in the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he took from, or he's saying, or he trying to, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But bro, that's the formula that was written for. That's the formula that working for us right now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm in that stage in my career where a motherfucker come to my page or come around me and they could be able to lead with something. I don't give a fuck if I said the smallest thing to them, like, keep going. You coming from a nigga that came from nothing.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying? So when I heard that shit on the other side of the tracks from a nigga that I know that came from nothing, they tell me keep going, I'm like, I can feel it. I know you mean it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm just at that stage where people paying attention be like, man, this is what I need to do. Or not even so, because I make mistakes. I ain't perfect from a long shot. That's what I don't need to do. You know what I'm saying? So it go both ways, but I feel like that's where I'm at in my career.
Do you ever have times where, I feel like you do, but depending on, I'm gonna just ask, do you ever have times where you like frustrated because it's like you almost at the next level, but not there yet?
I'm battling that right now, dog.
I can imagine.
Like it's your mind is, I feel like, your biggest enemy. You know what I'm saying? And we all get to a point. I feel like this is everybody, the biggest billionaires or however much money a motherfucker got. Like, I feel like we all get to a point where we like, damn, I done reached the cap. Like it's nothing past this. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I jump into the next category? And I feel like a lot of us don't take the time to sit down and be like, man, you need help. Like, I feel like a lot of people are self-conscious. You know, like, I know what's best for me. But sometimes you got to kind of break that mentality and be like, man, people want to see you do good, man. They can see something that you don't see. Or they can see a flaw that you don't see that could catapult you to the next level. So I just feel like sometimes we be our biggest
downfall.
critic. Yeah, our biggest downfall.
For sure.
Most definitely.
I was talking to an artist and I was asking him, would he try to get a feature with somebody because he had some connection? He was like, nah, I wasn't asking me. I want to basically work so hard that he recognized me and asked me for a feature. I understand that. However, I feel like sometimes us not wanting to ask for a quote unquote handout is a defense mechanism of no, because no hurts. You know what I'm saying? When somebody rejection hurts. So what happens is, like, when you ask for something and they reject you, we hurt by it, we angry from it. So to avoid that pain, we don't ask at all. We want to get it ourselves. When in all actuality, we all need help along the way.
Most definitely.
And there's nothing wrong with help. You know what I'm saying? I told somebody, I said, I think my biggest attribute for me is that I'm not afraid to ask somebody for help.
That's how I always been.
Cause
you got to speak up.
100%.
You got to speak up.
Facts. Do you ever think about, because this is where I was going with it. I was looking at you and I was like, man, this dude is so dope. I really want him to make it, but it seems like the good guys always finish last.
Most definitely.
Do you ever feel like that about yourself, or be like?
Man, my mama always had this quote. She say, the last will finish first. And it's kind of like a quote out of the Bible as well. But I always feel like that. I feel like I always got to work 30 times harder than this person that just came in the door and he just raised his hand and they just picked him from the crowd. But the thing that I learned from it, the motherfucker that never go through nothing, the motherfucker that don't last. They never last. Nothing. They never last. They don't know how to go through the ups and downs. They don't know when shit get bad, how'd you shake it off, you know what I'm saying? They don't know, they just don't know the other side or whatever, how they came in, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like in my shoes, back then, I used to look at it like, man, what the, be frustrated, mad at it, but now I look at it as a blessing. Cause the door's opening up and it's like, man, I know how to shake when stuff get bad. I know how to turn myself back up when the label say, we closing the door on you, oh, he done. I know how to turn it back up. I know how to go get a deal and make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like at the end of the day, like when you in your darkest hours, sometimes them be your biggest blessings.
Facts. Like you was in some dark times. You was living in a motherfucking storage unit at one point.
U-Haul.
Yeah, like my question is, I ain't understand that though. You gotta explain that to me because your parents always had your back.
Most definitely.
And after you wasn't living there, you went back home. So why you just go home from the jump?
It was more so of a thing of, I think I heard Money Man say this because I always question myself like, man, what pushed you to do that or get in that situation? It was like a burden feeling. We ain't never had shit, bro. Like, I got both parents, but we going through shit that a single parent going through. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm the type of person, motherfucker never had to tell me, go do this, go do that. I do it and I bring it to the table and be like, this what I done. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like when I got in that, I was fresh out of high school. I had just got signed, went broke, deal went sour, super sour. You feel what I'm saying? And at that time, it was more so we had to move out. I had to move out the city. I was gone from Tallahassee. It was more so like a homesick thing. It was more so I ain't know who the fuck I was. It was more so an identity thing. It was more so, man, it was so many emotions balled up in one. It was just, it felt like I ran away. Damn, y'all. And at the time, my pops was in a whole different state trying to go get some money. He was in South Carolina at the time. My dudes, we was in the O. You feel what I'm saying? So at that time, that was a new experience. You feel me? Being away so long, this happening. And now, like I said, I was in the streets as well. You feel what I'm saying? So coming out that, and on top of that, just having a daughter. So it was like so many emotions and so much stuff. It was just like, damn, all this shit. Like,
Do you think that was kind of back what we talking about? Do you think that was almost like ego getting in the way? Like, man, I can't go back home?
Most definitely. Like, I think that played the biggest factor of this shit. Like, you know you come from nothing. You was blessed with an opportunity. It might not have been the biggest opportunity, but you were blessed with an opportunity. But I was at a young age. I didn't know what to do with the opportunity. So it felt like on my end, but this our way out. But I fucked up the bag. I fucked up the play. You know what I'm saying? And it caused me to just go into a state of mind where it was like, go get it on your own again. Shut everybody out. Like, that's how I was feeling at the time. Like, damn all this shit. Like, it was more so like I ain't gonna say no fuck you thing, but it was more so like I'm finna try to just figure out who I am, what I want to do. I knew it was the music, but at the same time, it was more so coming from a point of mind where it was like, how you gonna do it? You got A, but how you gonna get to Z? Mama only could go so far. Pops gonna only go so far. They ain't got $1,000 to keep shelling out or to shell out. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like it was at a point of state of mind. It was like just stepping out on your own, leaving the nest type shit.
Damn. So what it sounds like, I'm not sure, but was you signed before this time you started living in the U-Haul?
I had probably I was 6 months into signing.
Who you was signed with?
My mixtapes / Warner Brothers at the time.
Okay. So you had a deal.
Had a deal.
The deal fucked up.
Went sour.
You thought you fumbled the bag. You probably dealing with embarrassment, depression, hurt. I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna get it on my own. I'm gonna climb back to the top. How did the deal go sour?
It was more so at that point of time, I ain't had the following that I have now. I ain't had the support that I have now. I ain't even know nothing about the business, the paperwork, the nothing. Like, it was just more so, I got some money. I signed, I make music. That was the objective, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, it was deeper than that. I ain't have control of what I put out. I didn't know the creator, the director that I was trying to go through. They weren't fucking with that. You know what I'm saying? Then when the first record that I dropped that they quote unquote was projecting to go, it didn't go. It was a regional type shit, and I got shelved. You know, I got shelved fast, like super fast.
Damn. So wait, you had to have some type of success to even get signed. You had a big song.
Bro, they wasn't even a big song.
Well, how did they sign you? How did they find you?
A quick story. Shout out to Coleon Entertainment, Cola P, down there in Miami. Zeke, he reached out to me, and one of his people in his entourage name was Snoop at the time. And when they used to always come through Tallahassee, and I used to open up for them, always, back to back. And I just was one of the ones I networked with anybody. You feel what I'm saying? The play was a woo opportunity. I'm in there, you know. And I built a relationship, and I got in good with the boys, but I never sent them no record, never sent them no music, never even talked about the business, something like that. When y'all in town, fuck with me. I pull up, shit like that. And it got to a point, I was working at Ross at the time. Ross stores, I worked the back. And I quit it. And I went home and I said, man, I'm finna take this music shit serious. And it was my record, Florida, actually. That was like my first big record. And I dropped the hook. And I was like, man, this shit hard. Smurf, which is my pops, he the one that pushed me he gave me the concept, like, man, talk about that Florida shit. Just talk about Florida. And I was like, all right, cool. And I dropped it. And it was just a hook. And I just sent it to him. Like, know what's up with it. I just sent it to him. And he called me, he said, boy, this it. Boy, this the motherfucking one. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, woo, shit like that. And actually, that was the damn one. And he told Zeke had a connection with my mixtape. My mixtapes were looking for an artist because they did a partnership with Warner Brothers. Now, the first artist they signed off of that record, I ain't have no buzz, I ain't have no prior shit. It was off the strength of that unreleased song.
That's hard.
For sure.
It's crazy how like we think of some shit like when we young, because you ain't fuck up the bag. That was just something that you got that off of a connection or whatever, and
I ain't know no better.
right? Because you definitely ain't fucked that bag
First
up.
thing,
Definitely
like
ain't fucked
some
that bag
money.
up.
Damn, 18 going on that thing.
What was the other? Because you was signed to a couple labels, right? You got dropped from
I went from them. I got dropped from them. And then a year later, I signed with Atlantic Records.
okay, and then you still with them?
No, I
You
ain't
not
with
them?
Atlantic
What
no
happened
more.
with
No.
that?
Atlantic, I don't really think it was nothing that really happened. It was just more so it was time to go. Like I dropped my hit record. It was called the hit song. You know what I'm saying? I dropped that last year, and it came out like prior to that. The records that came out. I think
What was the
we
name of
dropped-
that so people know?
Which one?
The hit song you had.
It was called Hit.
Oh, Hit, the hit. Okay,
It was
I'm
called
thinking
Hit.
that was it. Okay, my bad.
But the prior records to it, we dropped probably like 7 to 8 records. And they got traction, but it ain't really catch. You know what I'm saying? But when we finally got to the hit song, and that's when TikTok was really booming. You know, where it's booming, really booming
right
now.
now,
But
yeah.
that's when it was like really a new platform, shit like that. And I dropped it on the platform, and it went crazy. Like just went stupid. The label ain't want to support it. And they just like, it got to a point, my A&Rs and the people I was in co-host with, they was like, man, we just gonna, I was like, man, just put the record out. That's all I need to put the record. I had a little cheese, whoop, and I pushed the song myself. And man, that record, that's the record that changed my life, dog.
Damn.
Like
You
it
signed
changed
with,
my life.
Somebody really popular now.
Slip and slide. Yeah, that's like a Florida home team record label, independent record
How the
label.
hell, like, how did that? Like, you been blessed on the whole time, nigga. Like,
So once we got out the situation, we was in cahoots with Atlantic, you know, trying to get out the situation and whoop, probably about 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. And I got a production deal with Island Prolific. Shout out to Chris Jones. And it's so crazy. Like, man, I say this all the time because it's so crazy. 2 years prior to me being with Slip Slide 9, I met Ted Lucas. He was at Atlantic. And I'm a big Plies fan. Like, that's my favorite all-time artist. You feel me?
that's crazy.
I grew up on that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
But before you finish, right now, to cut you off, it's crazy because I got a line brother that's from Florida. And his favorite artist is Plies. And I swear to God, when he first told me that, I'm like, man, Plies, the fuck? But Plies is really like that.
Man, he just spoke that. It was so soulful when he came out. 'Cause everything he spoke about, it was going on in the hood.
That's crazy.
You feel me? It was going on in the hood. But to make a long story short, it was just basically it was like I say, Chris Jones. I met Ted 2 years ago when I was on the Atlantic.
Okay.
And Chris knew I was a big Plies fan, and that's who, you know, found Plies. And it was studio, he like, man, this Ted Luke. I'm like, oh shit, this Slip and Slide. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what good OG, you know what I'm saying? And I was working on a record in the studio and I played it for him. And he was like, but it was like,
yeah.
you did like,
cool.
you know what I'm saying? Woo the woo. But long story short, it's like when I dropped the hit record, it was full circle.
Is the hit, just curious, is the hit record when you was on a boat with the purple?
Nah. Hit record
What
when I
song
was
is
in the
that?
hood. I had
That shit that just did 1 million views on YouTube.
that's Major.
Major.
That's the last record I just dropped.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
That's
Major.
Major going crazy.
That shit crazy.
Major going. Now, Hit was 2 singles before that one.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2 singles before that.
That Major right here going.
And it caught his attention. His A&R, shout out to Bang. He caught it. He took it to him, and then when he started doing, I get, you know, Isaac, they do their research. He find out, he like, man, this my partner artist. You know what I'm saying? Man, let's go ahead and set it up. I'm fresh off Atlantic. I'm back independent, you know, stuff like that. He set the situation up. I went down to Miami. Man, I told him straight up, like, I remember this day, the biggest thing I said, I can't ride the bench no more. I said, I've been on the bench too long, bro. I've been doing this music 10 plus years. Even though that I'm just getting in the limelight where it's regional now, but I know what I can bring to the table. What you said earlier, I knew my worth when I got to that point. You know what I'm saying? I done worked in the business long enough from a beginner point of view where I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I was missing. You feel what I'm saying? And when I came to him and I showed him the whole formula, it was more so like, this what I'm missing. It was opportunists meet the plug. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, it went hand in hand. And it's like, man, I've been over there. I dropped my first record over there in March, and it's been through the roof since.
So you that main artist that they pushing?
I wouldn't even say that because we got Mike Smith over there. That's my boy. We got Baby J over there. We got TyTe over there. But I just feel like
they pushing all the artists like simultaneously.
Everybody got their own lane. That's how I just feel it. But I just feel like I'm bringing that spice to it though. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it ain't been in no cocky way. Like I just feel like I was brought on to this label to bring what I was taught. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, bro, if I see you lacking in this, do this. And I expect the same thing from my peers. It's Mike Smith, TyTe, Baby J, because I don't know every fucking thing. You know, it's some shit that I don't, you know what I'm saying, woo. So, like, at the end of the day, I just feel like everybody, when I came into this, in this family, everybody was in cahoots. Like, it was like, man, we can really make this work. We do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like everybody just, who the closest to the rim right now? Who the closest to the rim? Like, and I feel like once the ego's out the way and all that shit done, bro, it's whoever the closest to the rim, I'm throwing the ball right back up to the court. Who next? You feel what I'm saying? And that's how, and I feel like it's a repetitive process, and that's how you keep it going, bro. Especially from an independent label.
I feel like your music, bro, and just you as a person is like total opposite. I feel like your music is definitely giving cocky, like I'm that nigga. But yo, like just talking to you, like even just doing my research, it was something enjoyable. It wasn't something that was boring. I wasn't like, oh man,
that's real.
It was I'm like, damn, this nigga got a story.
That's real.
Question: what happened to I see you came with a cameraman. Do you still talk to the guy that shot the first video for you? Yeah.
That my boy Charlie Sky.
I was looking at him and he was just talking about how he shot it on the Canon T3 or some shit like that. I'm like, nah, this is fire. I love shit like that, bro. Like,
most definitely. That's my boy.
Where are you at now? Like, how are you feeling now? I know you said everybody have that struggle of like just trying to get to the next level. Most like, where you at mentally, man? I know there's a lot of things going well. But yeah, it's like, where you at? How you feeling?
I'm just in that space where a lot of this stuff new. Like I'm used to working at a fast pace, but now it's in the fast pace where it's in the business world. So it's like the stuff that I'm accustomed to. Man, go holler at what's called, tell them to come through, we can pay them. Or, you know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. Damn. You got to really go into these offices and, hey, how you doing? It go back to what your mama and your pops taught you, or what your mama taught you. You know what I'm saying? That first impression type, you go in there, clothes earn. You got a crease in your shirt. You know what I'm saying? It starts from those type of conversations. And then it builds to, man, what you do? It ain't always coming up what you do or knowing what a person do, but every time you see that, he's like, damn, he always involved in something. He every time I get around, he elevating. So I'm just in that state of mind where, what can I take from somebody else to elevate me? And not only elevate me, but whoever I'm in cahoots with or I'm conversing with, how can I help y'all? It ain't no one-way street. And I learned that the fast way, because like I said, coming from the streets or coming from the environment that I'm coming from, it was always survival mode. Like, we trying to just go. Like, shit, we'll figure out the next player down the road, but now it's more so I done slowed myself down. It's like, I was thinking about just yesterday. Now I'm thinking about 5 years from now. My boy TJ right here, I talk to him all the time, like, bro, think about 5-10 years from now, I got a daughter now. It ain't, it's what Tyte finna do, but I got to make sure shit set up for her.
5?
She about to turn 4.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure shit set up for her, because when I look back on what I just came from, my parents ain't know no better. They thought they was, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm trying to make sure my child doing the woo, and they had the best of the best, but at the time, now when you look at it, be like, damn, I ain't really have a grip on things like I thought I did. Cause I coming out the trenches still. Like, I don't want my daughter to go through this. I want her to have a head start.
Let me ask you this. Always thinking ahead, trying to think down the line. When the last time you lived in a moment and just appreciate the things that's going on now and just gave yourself a pat on the back for how far you came, honestly?
Man, looking at my daughter. Because it's coming from a place where it was like, I know I could take care of myself. When shit get rough, I can survive on some noodles. I can survive on some hot dogs, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. But
no cap.
When you take care of a whole nother human being and be like, she getting the best of the best, and I'm taking care of me, it just give you that drive, that much, boy, you on your shit. This ain't no mama, daddy money. This ain't no this person. This ain't no the label cut this chick and this daddy going out here doing this damn thing, running through these interviews, doing these shows, and I bring it back to the crib, be like, baby, you go get these shoes. You know what I'm saying? You can go do this right here, and you can go to sleep at night and be like, I did that. I feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? And then it's coming from a spirit where it's like, it wasn't forced, or I had to go take from somebody, or I had to go risk. You know what I'm saying? Risk what the fuck I got going on, jeopardize what I got going on just to make this stuff happen. So I just feel like that alone, just looking at my daughter, she probably not understand everything right now, but it's just the simple fact on her face, like, Pa's able to take care of you and me.
It sounds like your daughter is able to like give you that reflection and have you like pat yourself on the back or celebrate your small wins.
Most definitely.
Often, because like, just being honest, I ask that question because sometimes we get so lost in the next, what's happening next, that we don't sit the time to sit down and be like, damn, bro, I just did 1 million views on this YouTube video.
But I'm like that though. Like exactly what you just said. Like, what's next? Like, I live in a moment, literally 5 to 10 seconds, bro. Like my A&Rs and the coaches that's around me, they be like, damn, nigga, be grateful for a second. But bro, I'm so used to shit could take a curve in a minute. Like shit, you can feel like you just hit the lottery. Like, we got a breath of fresh air. You feel what I'm saying? Like, man, we got a little money come through, and then out of the blue, you wake up the next morning, it's like, man, fuck.
It's all gone.
This shit gone.
But that's why you should maybe live in a moment. You say you live in the moment for maybe 5 seconds. Maybe you should do 25 seconds next, because just like you said,
cherish that shit.
It can be gone the next day. So imagine if we got $1 million, right? And we trying to make it $10 million. That we trying to flip this $1 million so much that we don't even understand the power of our $1 million. Now it's gone tomorrow. Definitely. We ain't even appreciate it when we had it yesterday.
Most definitely.
You get what I'm trying to say?
Most
so I
definitely.
feel like, and this is something that I'm working on. So I'm just really speaking to myself, but I'm
But
saying
that
that
real.
because
That real.
I get it. I understand I drop a video, niggas fucking with it.
You try to capitalize at that moment.
I gotta top this, I gotta top that. And it's, no, man, let me just. But that was really good. I asked some good questions. We had some great conversations.
Most definitely.
Let me cherish this moment.
Most
You know what I
definitely.
mean? I feel like we gotta start doing that as men. I feel like a lot of times we trying to top the next. We trying to have the next big thing when we don't really appreciate the big thing we got now.
I feel like that come off of the pressure. You know what I'm saying?
What pressure though?
But
what pressure do we really have?
We create our own pressure. I feel like a lot of people, and that shit fuck with me a long damn time. Because I be like, where this pressure coming from?
Facts.
Like, you will be like, then you will sit there, you be like, man, so-and-so did it. Then you will have that person that was like, from who? But you never say who it is. Then when you sit down thinking about it, be like, man, fuck, who? Where this pressure? I'm putting the pressure on myself.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like as men, especially when you coming from a household where I'm the one that can probably make a real difference.
Facts.
That's where the pressure come on to you. Like, man, I know what the dirty look like. I got a little something now. It probably we can't move everybody out the hood, or I can't even move these 3 people out the hood. But I done tasted it enough where it's like I can't go back to that. And I feel like that's where the pressure on the well. Mama do say, dang, I remember you had it a couple months. She probably ain't said it, but you could tell out the body language. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to ask her for it right now because I know shit kind of rocky right now. You know your mama, you know your pa, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So I feel like as men, we kind of create our own pressure. We got to have the best of, we got to make sure this is handled. Especially when, and I ain't gonna say everybody, every man or every, you know what I'm saying, every person, but those that's big on taking care of their responsibilities.
Now that's pressure. I ain't gonna lie. I'm thinking about it. That's a lot of pressure. Like when you not trying to go back, like when I moved on up, what they say, you feel me? When I moved up, I'm like, nah, I ain't going back. That's a lot of pressure.
I can't, bro.
I'm not.
I can't.
I die before, like that's
I
how you,
die before I go back. I done made it out of it, bro. Like how can, and then you being competitive with yourself, like, bro, I know I did this in this amount of time, bro. I know I can double that shit if I do this. And then you go to who I need to talk to. Then once you get into the present, you done met that goal. It's like, who I need to, who the next person, you know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it's an ongoing thing, but I just feel like it's in certain men, you know what I'm saying? You just got to have that hustle in you and that mentality where it's like, I'm trying to outdo myself every time. It's like, I'm not in competition with you, but I'm in competition with myself.
Myself, nigga. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, man, all right, you was good, but I need to be better.
You feel me? Like, bro, you looking like this a week ago. Like, man, I'm trying to look like, when I come and look in that mirror, like, boy, you look like money. You look like money. Like,
I mean, you looking like money. You looking good, bro.
I'm trying to.
Got the big chain, got the roller. You looking good, dog.
I'm getting there.
You know
I'm getting there.
There's niggas that don't got the roller. Yeah, you might. You gotta appreciate that.
I'm getting for sure. I'm getting there.
No cap. No, bro. I fuck with it, bro. I really wish one of the few people that I really like rooting for, and I never even met you. Like, and I mean that. Like I said, it just take a couple interviews to look at. I'm like, damn, this nigga.
That's real.
I fuck with it, bro. What do you like? How can you get to the next level? How can I help you get to the next level? Really, for real.
Man, I just feel like honesty. Like, bro, it's so crazy because I feel like everybody be like, man, I don't want no yes man around me. We want yes man around us sometimes. We want to hear
feel
that.
Good.
Sometimes we want to hear our thoughts told by somebody else. You know what I'm saying? If I'm saying in my mind, this the best thing that don't happen, I want to hear my partner that confirmation. That confirmation. You feel what I'm saying? And I felt like once I got through that part where it was like, man, yo, yes is not always the right yes.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not always the right yes. And when I got in that state of mind where I got around a group of people who was like, well, that ain't it. You need to start doing this. And at first, it was like, man, what you mean? Like, I feel like I'm on the top of it. Like, I had that ego. You know what I'm saying? Well, I felt like I was that person. But when I sat back and I thought about it, I'm like, well, you ain't did shit yet. And then when you look at their resume and the people that don't work with it, I be like, how can you go against them? It vouched for itself. Listen to him. And I think that was like the biggest thing that I had growing up, especially being the only child. I ain't had nobody tell me stuff. And I felt like I grew to a point where nobody couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? I had to start listening. And when that was like
hard
though. Man, bro, oh my. Because you always think somebody, hey, you think somebody like, man, you don't know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? You feel it, but the next person over, bro, they could be the brokest person on earth, but they can guide you, be like, bro, don't do this.
And I don't do that. I don't think people talk about it enough, but that shit hurt too. Like, having to listen, like, one thing, like, I hate being wrong, but I appreciate it.
I hate being wrong.
I hate it, but I appreciate it. It's like, when I'm wrong, I appreciate the fact that somebody can show me and I can get better from it. Of course, I appreciate it.
Most definitely.
But I hate it. It's like, oh, fuck.
Like, where I went wrong at. You
Like,
know what I'm saying? Where the information
we all
was
want to
missing.
be, right? You feel me? But we don't talk about how bad that hurt, because it's like, when a nigga tell you about yourself and you got to listen, it's like, damn, you right.
And some people can't take that.
They can't, though.
They can, and that's where the constructive criticism comes from. Like, when I started understanding the difference between criticism and constructive criticism, I was like, man, they ain't saying this wrong shit towards me to make me feel, but like, nah, nigga, like, you need to take that shit on the chin, and this is what you need to do to power up. And once I got that through my head, I was like, bro, this whole time,
It's only
they
helping
were
me.
just trying to help me.
It's only helping
You
me.
feel what I'm saying? It's sad to say, I done burned a lot of bridges. You know what I'm saying? That's in thinking I know everything. Like I say, coming from the circumstances I'm coming from, and I don't want to put it on type of that, cause give that as the excuse, but it is a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Cause it's like, shit. I watched my parents learn from others, but we was still in this same, in this same situation where it was like, we ain't benefiting from shit. But we was listening to y'all like y'all had it together. You know what I'm saying? And it played a role in the way that I did business and with the music shit. And when I got to that point, I was like, man, just listen what a motherfucker got to say. It can't hurt you. You either gonna rock with it or you ain't. And when it got to that point where I think it took was somebody told me something and it happened the way that they told me. And I was like, man, start listening more. You might find some more gems. You know what I'm saying? Or you might get some more free game. You know what I'm saying? And that's when the end up started being, they started paying attention. I was like, man, the shit that they saying, that's the shit that's happening to me right now. And they telling you how to guide through it. But some of us, we had that guard up where it was like, we deaf to that shit. We hear you, but we don't hear you. I'm gonna do that shit my way.
So let me ask you this then. That's a great point. But there's another side of that, right? How do you differentiate listening, but also going your own route sometimes? Because sometimes you're not gonna listen all the time.
Most definitely.
And sometimes somebody might have a great point, but it's like, bro, I gotta take this route because that's what I truly believe in. How do you differentiate the two?
You just hit it on the money. It's nobody that can come to me and say, if you do this, this gonna happen. You got to go. It's that feeling where it's just so soulfully, where you can just spoke your soul and be like, bro, I feel like God told me to tell you this, and you do this, and this gonna happen. You got to have that mentality where I'm gonna take what they told me and I'm gonna apply it to what I know what's gonna make it work. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like exactly what you just said earlier. You got to always bet on yourself. Even if it sounds crazy to the person that's next door to you, or like, man, what? Like, right? It's just a certain feeling that you can't explain to somebody. Everybody that I feel like got that certain feeling was like, man, I don't care what you say. I know this feeling right here, and it's telling me to do this. But whatever that you just told me, and I feel like that was genuine and that could work, I'm gonna apply it to what I got on top of what I'm about to do. You feel what I'm saying? And make it make sense. I feel like the communication got to be broad enough where it's like, how can that make sense what I'm trying to do? You got to have your own vision coming to the table. Because I feel like if you so open-minded, or you just, well, man, I do this, or woo, I'm relying on you on everything. And you going to do whatever that you feel that you going to do. So when you come to me and I be like, man, that ain't nothing that I do, but I ain't bringing nothing to the table initially.
I think what it sounds like, right? You know how they say, first thing thought came to mind, you know how they say a hard head make a soft ass, right? What it sounds like is, people say, when you're not open into listening, I think that comes from an ego, and that comes from a mental thing, it's a mentality thing. But when you're opening to listening, it comes from your heart. So what happens is, if your heart is in the right place and somebody is telling you something, I'm open to listening to you. Some things I might do, but at the same time, I'm open to listening to you, but my heart is always with me as well. You get what I'm saying? But when it's not in the heart and it's from the head, I ain't listening to nothing
You go mute.
And
like I said, I just feel like it's one of those things where you can't pinpoint. It just got to be you as a person and yourself. Me talking to you, you talking to me. I can feel like, man, what he telling me right, I can feel it in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I can take what you just said and run with it. More so than what you just said, you be like, man, he just talking off the motherfucking head. And I can pick up on that, you know what I'm saying? I hear him. And that's where that mute come through, like, I hear him. You know what I'm saying? But am I going to apply that to my craft or apply that to what I'm about to do? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, exactly what you just said, you got to break that ego barrier.
No cap.
You got to get past that point where I feel like a lot of artists and people just in general, and this is just every aspect, like, when somebody say something that you don't agree with, in our culture, I'm gonna say in our culture, we take it as somebody, hey, or man, they don't know nothing, or they don't whoop the whoop. But sometimes it's be some truth in that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you got to take that. I feel like you got to take that into consideration where it's like, man, I feel what they saying though.
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? They might came out the wrong way, but I feel what they saying though. And you got to take that into consideration and build off of it.
Okay.
And that was like the biggest thing that was with me. I love the criticism because it showed me where I was fucking up at. It literally, like, when somebody like, and it's not just one person. Like, a lot of people, they get frustrated, fluctuated off of one person. No, when you got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 people telling you that, bro, it's some truth in whatever that they saying,
Facts,
bro.
no cap.
And a lot of people, they'll overlook that. They be like, man, they hate now, bro. 70 people ain't hating.
There's only one common denominator is you.
One common denominator.
Facts,
you feel me?
Cap. So what you what you working on now? What's next? Like, what can we?
The biggest thing right now, working on these singles, man. I'm trying to. I feel like my music live in the club. I feel like I'm no filter type of person, but at the same time, it's just more so. I just say the things that you want to say, but you don't say. And that's what I'm just capitalizing off of. Like I said, I'm just in that realm right now, just building the singles and hopefully that it turn into a project. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the ultimate goal, to turn into a project. But right now I'm just trying to get the people familiar with me, show my personality. I'm a funny guy. I like to have fun. I like to, you know what I'm saying? I like it's more than the music. I'm a family man. My daughter, you know what I'm saying? I like to give advice. And you know, in the Instagram world, or however you want to put it, coach of Florida. Like, I feel like I'm a coach. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way where it's like, we got to follow that nigga rules or we trying to be like, nah, like, man, you got some shit that you want to talk about, and I feel like I can help you, I'm going to point you in the right direction. Like a coach would do. You feel what I'm saying? And I take that under my wing heavily. Like, it's like, we can't progress if we don't pass down the information. Because I used to say that about OGs that was ahead of me. Like, I'd be like, bro, like, how? Y'all saying all this stuff, but like, bro, how we supposed to get to the next level if we don't know where the mistakes was? We don't know what worked and what didn't. And I feel like I'm in that point in my career where it's like, I want to make motherfuckers pay attention to me. Not even pay attention to me, but I want to give back. I want to contribute to what's being contributed to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker come to me and say, bro, how do I get on? Prime example be, bro, drop music. Be consistent. We can drop, it could be trash music, but you consistent at trash music. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
all you gotta do is keep going. Something gonna hit shit.
It's gonna hit. But
I tell people, look at Jocelyn. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, Jocelyn was consistent.
Most definitely.
Next thing you know, she got Do It Like It's My Beat. I'm just saying, like, no matter.
Most definitely.
I'm just saying, like, you be consistent, something gonna happen. I think I was talking to Carly, Young Thug ex-girlfriend. He was like, man, his advice to her was like, just keep dropping music.
Just
something
keep
going,
dropping.
and we see it. We see it from the greats. Lil Wayne dropped millions of records. Young Thug dropped millions of records.
I don't feel like we in that point of time though. See, I feel like when that point of time, we gave artists the time to develop. I feel like now we in that point of time, a motherfucker first record, we expect y'all to have it together. And I feel like where I'm at and other artists that's in that realm of growing or aspiring, whatever they're trying to do, whatever goals, I feel like our goals should be like, we got to show them how to have it together out the gate. Because that's what they're expecting now. Like I say, it's one thing to say, I feel like it's one thing to say when the old heads or people that's seasoned in the game and to be like, man, you got to do this, you got to do that in the fours, you got to do, but it ain't the same thing with how y'all came in. Y'all ain't have the technology and the exposure that we have now coming in the game. It took time. We ain't know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. We just knew the hit record. But y'all was 7 and 8 records in before we'll hear that hit record and then go do the research.
Facts.
You know, now we hear the first thing coming and everything out there. If we rock with that first, we'll follow the trend. But if that first thing don't resonate, like, oh, he a dub. You know what I'm saying? We don't give it the time to develop now. And I feel like we in that realm now, artists that is getting on, pay attention to the stuff that is working. And that's what the biggest thing that resonated to me. Yeah, I paid attention to mistakes, what not to do, but no, you need to zero in on what's working.
So let me ask you this though, because that's a great point. But at the same time, do you get so lost in what's working that you lose your genuineness? Like, do you lose that what you really care for? Because like if I make a club record, but I really don't want to make a club record, but it works, so I'm gonna just keep making club records. Don't you kind of lose yourself in that though?
I feel like that's the conversation you got to have with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I came in this thing wanting to be an artist. I came in this thing not being a particular artist. I'm wherever float. Like, I love music in general. So whatever make the crowd move, I'm rocking with it. You feel what I'm saying? But if you were that artist, I came in this and I standing on this and I'm standing on these certain type of, you know what I'm saying, woo to woo, and I got to stay in this realm. Okay, fine, handed Dana, cool. You saying yourself as a limit. It's a limit to you. You know what I'm saying? I won't do these certain things. I won't go against these certain things. Not saying that I will go against my own principles, but it's certain things where you got to say, man, I got to expand. This shit moving in a different way, in a different time than it was back then. You feel what I'm saying? Long as I'm not going against my morals, I'm fine. If it's making the people laugh, if it's making the people cry, if it's making the people feel a certain way, you know what I'm saying? Woo, woo, I'm with it because I want to evolve with the people. I don't want to be stuck in a time, you know what I'm saying? Oh, bro, he was popping in 2013. Or we in 2022 now. He was popping in 2022. Nah, tight popping. And we in 2035.
Facts.
He just evolving with us. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't going against his morals where I got to say this stuff, but they know damn well, like, man, that ain't how TyTe came out. That ain't how he feel. You know what I'm saying? It just got to make sense for whatever that I'm doing. And I feel like as an artist, if you entitled to your brand, it got to make sense what you came out doing. Or that you, whatever that you, if you saying, man, I'm trying to do this right here, this is what I'm trying to bring to the game. Never derail from that. It's okay to evolve from it. Sometimes, and I don't got to the point, sometimes people don't see the vision right then. Like, you be like, man, he went super left. But the whole time, I'm like, man, I'm going left, but I'm coming back right at the same time. But that left that I made is going to help me out in the long run.
Yeah, it's something for the moment. I'm just making this left.
For the moment, but at that time, it's only that you can see.
Right, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I just feel like that prime statement that you just said, it just comes down to the person. You know what I'm saying? Their morals, their principles, and how they see they scaling their career.
No, I fuck with it. I fuck with it, man. I fuck with what you got going on, man. I fuck with the brand. You can let us know how we can follow you, how we can support everything that you got going on.
Yo, yeah. Y'all can follow me anywhere at The Real Tyte. That's DarealTyte. That's on all platforms. The Real Tyte.
Appreciate you again, man.
Most down.
Mr. J Hill Podcast. Fuck with him. Tyte. That's all we got.
Family.
It's a wrap.